here with Democrats. This is family. So, thank you to the Vermont Democratic Party, to the chair, Dottie. Thank you for having me here. I want to give a special shout out. We've got Deb Kauskowski, the vice chair of the Massachusetts Democratic Party. She's here. I want to say, Deb, thank you for lending me to Vermont for the evening. My responsibilities are always first there. I also want to say Ray Buckley is here tonight from the New Hampshire party. He's the chair of the National Association of Democratic State Chairs. It is the case that it's the state chairs, all the people who volunteer, all the people who got out and work to make it happen. So I want to say thank you for all you're doing for the party, for the states all across the company. The state chairs really make it happen. Thank you. Thank you. I also want to say to Governor Shumlin, to Congressman Welch, thank you for all you're doing every day to show what Democrats stand for and to show that we really can build a better country. God bless you for all you do. I really appreciate it. But I have to say a very special thank you to my friends, Pat Leahy and Bernie Sanders. Pat and Bernie are true progressive leaders in the United States Senate. I love working with them. I love learning from them. And I love having a chance to see their leadership in action. It just means the world. It really does. Senator Leahy is a moral compass who tries to keep the Senate on a true course. We have seen that in his work for many years. I don't have to come to Vermont to tell that to people. But I want to say, for me, it hit particularly close to home when Pat took up the leadership of the Violence Against Women Act. Dating back to his days as a Vermont prosecutor, Pat has understood the vulnerability of women subjected to domestic abuse, and he fought back. We will never know specific names, but there is no doubt that his victory in making the Violence Against Women Act the law of the land has saved lives across this country, and we thank you for that. In the Senate, as Bernie said, he's been the driving force to help us confirm federal judges who are fair and impartial. But it's on every vote that we take in the Senate, vote after vote, issue after issue. Pat reminds us that we need to stand up. We came to Washington not to be there for what is convenient or what is popular, but for what is honest and principled. We owe you a great deal, Pat. Bernie Sanders. Wow. What else is there to say? You know, Bernie is also a moral leader in the Senate and a powerful engine for change. His energy and his passion are boundless, and that's coming from me. Bernie gets out there and makes it happen, and we've all seen it, that just in the past couple of weeks, Bernie managed to change a part of government that has resisted change for decades. You all read about the serious crisis in the VA hospitals, and as you know, Bernie took the lead, and with his good friend John McCain, put together a bill that will ensure that our veterans get the care they need in a timely fashion. Again, Bernie created I thank you, Bernie. You are amazing senators. You work incredibly hard, and we are grateful. But you know what it's like now in Washington. Battles are uphill, and they are getting harder every day. I was thinking about this as I was trying to think what I wanted to talk about tonight. And where I was struck is to think back to an earlier time in Washington, a time when pretty much everyone, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, agreed to some basic ideas about what government should do. Help our kids get an education, build roads and bridges and power grids, invest in medical research, take pride in our scientific achievements and advancement, give a little boost to small businesses and startups over the big guys that already had made it. Sure, there were differences in Washington, sometimes big differences, but for decades, Congress usually came together to make these basic investments happen, to help build a future for this country. But those days have vanished. Today, Washington doesn't work for regular families. It doesn't work to build opportunities for kids and grandkids. Instead, Washington is rigged to work for the rich and the powerful, to work for those who can hire armies of lobbyists and lawyers, to create giveaways and special deals. And just look at the results of that. Today, billionaires pay taxes at lower rates than their secretaries, while the government makes billions of dollars in profits off the backs of students and student loans. Profitable oil companies get billions of dollars in subsidies, but there's no money to rebuild roads and bridges or upgrade our power grid. In order to protect the business interests of rich donors like the Koch brothers, Republican senators deny basic science of climate change, putting everyone on this planet at risk. Big corporations shimmy through tax loopholes while small businesses and startups that can't use complicated tax shelters pay full freight. Now think about those differences and then think about what they mean. There's a lot of talk today about polarization, a claim that both sides have gotten more extreme. The parties are further apart than they have ever been, and a lot of pundits like to blame both sides. But I think that's the wrong way to understand what happened. The things we used to do together, education, roads, bridges, medical research, the Republicans just keep cutting. They say there's no money to build a future. But at the same time, those same Republicans demand that every single tax loophole for billionaires be protected. They demand that every subsidy for profitable companies continue. They demand that special tax breaks that only international corporations can get access to stay open. And if that means that college kids get crushed by student loans, they don't care. If that means there's no money to repair bridges that are falling down, they don't care. If that means that they have to deny basic scientific facts, they don't care. If that means that small businesses have to pay a bigger share of the tax burden, they don't care. Democrats are defending the values we've protected for decades: education, infrastructure, research, jobs, a strong middle class, while Republicans have gone to extremes to tilt the playing field in favor of the rich and the powerful. Look at what happened in the United States Senate just last week. Democrats proposed a bill to allow 40 million people around this country to refinance their student loans. Now, people can refinance mortgages, businesses can refinance their debts, but today young people can't refinance their student loans. So our bill would let people stuck at interest rates at 6%, 8%, 10%, 12%, and even higher, lower their monthly payments and have a little more money in their pockets. Once upon a time, this would have been easy. Once upon a time, the government subsidized student loans. Once upon a time, all of us, the taxpayers, tried to help kids get an education, but not now. Now, Thanks to Republicans, the government makes tens of billions of dollars in profits off those high-interest loans. And those profits are already baked into the federal budget for years to come. Now, the Democrats said, this is wrong. So we said, let's pay for the student loan bill by stitching up a few tax loopholes for millionaires and billionaires. We had a pretty simple bottom line. Billionaires should pay at least as much in taxes as middle-class families. Simple idea, no gimmicks. That's the choice we put to the country. Billionaires or students. We can use our money to support people who have already made it big, or we can use that same money to support people who are still trying to get a fair shot in life. We made the choice clear, and then we fought. We fought for students. We stood up and we spoke out, individually and through terrific organizations all around this country. We gathered more than 750,000 signatures on petitions. We made our voices heard. And here's what we got for it. In the United States Senate, we got every Democrat, every independent, and even 3 Republicans to support this bill. Pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. We had a majority. We had 58 senators who were ready to go our way. But we all know what happened. The Republicans filibustered, and that stopped the bill cold. But we need to learn from them, because there it is. The Republicans say it is more important to protect every single tax loophole for billionaires than it is to help young people who are trying to get an education. Now, I knew they favored the rich, but they won't even lend a little help to young people who are crushed by high-interest student loans. That's tilting the playing field, and here's the deal. We're fighting back. That's what we're doing. Be clear, this isn't polarization. This is fighting back against extremists who say that Washington should work for millionaires and billionaires, even when it crushes America's middle class. This is Democrats fighting to build opportunities for our kids. Democrats fighting for America's hardworking families. Democrats fighting to rebuild America's middle class. That's what we're doing. Yes, we fight. We fight for what we believe in. We fight proudly for what we believe in. And that's why I wanted to be here tonight with you, to remind ourselves what we believe in. We believe that Wall Street needs stronger rules and tougher enforcement, and we're willing to fight for it. That no one in this country should work full-time and live in poverty, and that means raising the minimum wage, and we're willing to fight for it. We believe that people should retire with dignity, and that means strengthening Social Security and Medicare, and we're willing to fight for it. We believe in science, and that means protecting the earth so the planet survives and our children can drink the water and breathe the air, and we're willing to fight for it. We believe that a kid should have a chance to go to college without getting crushed by debt, and we're willing to fight for it. We believe that workers have a right to come together, to bargain together, and to rebuild America's middle class, and we're willing to fight for it. And I can't believe we have to say this in 2014, but we believe in equal pay for equal work and a woman's right to her body, and we are willing to fight for it. And we believe that equal means equal, and that's true in the workplace, and it's true in marriage, and it's true for all our families, and we're winning that fight. We're winning it here. And we believe that the people with the most money shouldn't be able to buy elections, and we're willing to fight for a constitutional amendment. We're willing to fight for it. We'll reverse citizens' united. I wrote a book, and there's a reason that I call my book A Fighting Chance, because we believe that all our kids, not just some of our kids, but all of our kids deserve a fighting chance. So let me be clear about this. I'm grateful to have the chance to be here with you tonight. I appreciate all that you did, day in and day out. And I'm here tonight to ask you to do more. I'm here tonight to ask you to fight harder. To fight harder because we know how much there is on the line. Our economy, our country, our values. We have to fight because we know that if we don't fight, we don't win. We fight because we know that when we fight together, we will win. We've got Pat Leahy, we've got Bernie Sanders, we've got leadership, and we've got determination. We will give American families the fighting chance that they deserve, and we're going to do it together. We're going to do it from this